Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Vantage Indy Special League here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Grand Prix of Indianapolis. 2 weeks till the Indy 500. This is the final points race, final race period before the Indy 500. We got a little bit of a pre-race show action. I'm Nico. With me here in the booth today is Elliot.
How'd it do, buckaroo?
Elliot, long time no see. It's been all of probably 45 minutes since the end of the Formula America race. And we got some VISL action coming your way.
Absolutely. The Vantage Indy Special League comes to Indianapolis for, I'd say, what's considered the start of the road to the Indy 500. I know we've had some practice sessions for the past couple weeks, but this is where we get to see cars on track in a race session for the first time here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, the month of June, big in Vantage. We got 19 events. 20 counting qualifying for the Indy 500 across multiple games, multiple series. We have Vantage Week, and of course, the Indy 500, the staple of not only the Vantage Indy Special League, but a staple of Vantage as a whole. It's a crown jewel, 200 laps, a full 500 miler. But today we're focused on the road course, Elliot. We got some new faces out there, actually. If you want to go over them as
James
we get
Staples.
in there. Yeah, James Staples.
24.
Dustin Stout was here for Road Atlanta. That was his first start, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you are not mistaken. Dustin Stout making his second start. Road Atlanta didn't go too good for him, but he showed a bit of promise there throughout the race, and maybe he can get a better result here this week.
He's looking for a bounce back. Larry Miles sits atop practice. He's looking to go back to back. He wants to take a points lead into the Indy 500 with a strong performance here today. 1:12.9. Elliot, you ran a lap in practice yourself, albeit with no practice in this
no practice.
car track combo. But
we're in a 14.000. But yeah, that's just showing that these guys, they are definitely on it. They are really trying right now. They're even just 15 minutes into practice, barely. They're pushing out there. They are not. This championship means a lot to them so much that they're racing in practice.
Absolutely. You can see Rick Raven going at it, getting up the inside of it. I think that's Dustin Stout.
That is James Staples.
Or James Staples, excuse me. Yes, James Staples out there. Rodent Racing, by the way. Newest driver, if I'm not mistaken. Is that true for James Staples? Or is that Dustin Stout?
No, that is not true at all. That is neither.
No, that's... All right. Leo Delmas.
Yeah, that's Delmas.
Leo Delmas. All right. I'm still learning. I was off for a week. Missed... the last VISL race, but I'm here. I should be here for the majority of the remainder of the entire calendar.
Hard into the wall at the final corner.
Oh, big moment from Gale Rolls. Let's see what happened with him if we can't get a replay of that. Hopefully we can. Yeah, let's see. He just lost it coming out of the final corner. Rear end just stepped out on him. Backs into the wall, and that's going to be it for that car. I'll have to reset, and he's coming out on track now, actually. Or he was.
Yeah, you can just look there. It's really hard on. You have to be really getting the line perfect. You want to be slightly more inside, because as you transition to the curb, part of your tire lifts off the ground. You're not getting that full contact patch, and it just sends you straight round.
Yeah, it is very difficult. Brandon Gass before this race was saying it's a very difficult car track combo. Of course, we know these Indy cars, not the easiest thing to drive, especially on cold tires, full fuel situation. So on a track like this, or any kind of road course, it's a handful for sure.
Absolutely, and no power steering on top of that. So it's you have to wrestle these things around any track.
For sure, without a doubt. So we have Larry Miles first, Gale Rolls second right now in practice. About 15 minutes to go till qualifying. Elliot, do you have any predictions for today's race?
So Gale Rolls has been on a tear recently with fastest laps in qualifying. He's been on pole, I feel like, every other race this season. He has the most poles of any driver. I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to get the pole out of here. But Brandon Gass going fastest just now, 12.9. Larry Miles, 12.93. I'd say qualifying is going to be very close between Miles, Gass, and Rolls.
Yeah, absolutely. Rolls, he's been great in qualifying. I don't think I can necessarily say the same in racing. In the races, he's gotten a handful of podiums, but the results, they really haven't gone his way. He hasn't gotten the wins.
I think he has as many DNFs as he does podiums.
Yeah, so it's kind of hit or miss. He's kind of hot or cold. He either nails it in qualifying or nails a wall in the race. hopefully, if you're Gale Rolls, as you can see a little bit of action here with Tyler Justice and Gale Rolls.
Justice also getting a couple podiums throughout the season. Didn't have too good of a result last race at Road Atlanta, but you have to have a short memory in racing, and I think he has that, and he's going to be trying for a much better result here today.
Yeah, a lot of these guys close on points. Gale Rolls, Tyler Justice tied at 194. The tiebreaker being more podiums for Gale Rolls right now. Of course, we do have a bit of a tiebreaker system in the rule book. Elliot, did you want to go over the details of all the tie-breaking scenarios if it comes to it at season's end?
Absolutely. So if there's a tie similar to how basically every other racing series does it, it's a count back system. So most wins, most second places, most thirds, whatever. If it goes all the way down the line and by some absolute miracle all the positions are the same, it goes to a best of 3 Uno online game to decide the position.
So theoretically, there could be a situation where Larry Miles and Rick Raven, let's just say, finish equal amounts in every single position over 22 races. The championship could theoretically be decided by a game of online Uno.
3 games of online Uno.
3, yeah, best of 3, right?
Yeah, and this also applies to every other Vantage series currently. First implemented Vantage Pro Series Season 2. Never got to be utilized then, but here today it might be utilized at this season.
It theoretically could be. And, of course, the chances of that happening, I think, are astronomically slim. But it could happen.
2 drivers have to have 22 identical results.
They would have to finish, technically, in one first through 22nd, at least one time each.
Yeah, technically. Or if they each get 11, they each get 11 wins and 11 second places.
That could also happen, yeah. I guess
There's a lot of ways it could happen, but
there is lots of combinations.
Oh, Gale Rolls getting another spin there, getting a little bit of grass in turn 3. He definitely wants to get his times closer to Gas and Miles. He's just over 8/10 off them. Real quickly though, let's see who is not on track right now. It appears to be just Casey Keller. If we can maybe pull him in here for a quick chat, if he's in any VC. Don't think he is currently.
No, he's not.
Unfortunate for him. We might be able to give him his spotlight a little later.
Yeah, we got
real quickly.
10 minutes.
Matthias Marcomini spinning off, having to reset. Marcomini not having, I'd say, the best season. Pretty consistent, pretty mundane though. Currently sits, fifth in the points standings. Has 1 podium to his name.
He's currently 9th right now. Is Marcomini?
Oh, nice.
4 starts
out
of 6 races. He has missed a handful of races. So he missed Homestead and he missed VIR, but he's been consistently top 5 or so every race, top 7.
Yeah, I'd definitely say so. He won that 1 podium at the Homestead Oval, I think it was, where he had that podium. Actually, no, it was Long Beach where he got 3rd place.
It was Long Beach,
and then it was Long Beach, and then since then he's been on pretty consistent with top 5s. Last race at Road Atlanta, he had a really tough time getting in a bit more incidents than he would have liked to, but hopefully he's back this week with the vengeance.
We'll see. Hopefully we can see a new winner. We've had 6 races. 3 drivers have won 2 races each. Larry Miles, Rick Raven, and Tom Minot, owner of Minot Monday, who's not here, of course. Driver for GRC, but the pioneer of Minot Monday. On holiday right now. Nope.
Just moved us into the official broadcast booth for this race.
That would make sense.
Would make sense. But yeah, we keep going here. The times are starting to tumble. You can see everyone, like Raven, Raven is just barely off of Marcomini. This is, I think, the lowest we've seen Raven in practice, but I think he can definitely qualify better than this.
Yeah, Rick Raven going a little bit slow. I mean, he's 1.1 second off Brandon Gass right now. Of course, qualifying could be different, but looks like the time right now is still to be found if you're Rick Raven.
Absolutely, absolutely. What's real quickly, see, we might want to potentially talk with Gale Rolls. You know, he hasn't had the results we've wanted. Currently on track right now, I think we can pull him in for a quick little chat. Gale, it's Elliot and
Oh,
Nick up in the booth.
Hey, did you catch any of that conversation?
We just
We
missed
did
it.
not. We just missed that comment.
Okay.
Alrighty. Sounds like Rodent Racing is having a ball down there.
Yeah.
So, you're currently third in practice, a little under a second off the top two.
These are race laps from me.
Wonderful. And you've led a lot of races, you led a lot of starts, but you haven't really gotten that win yet. Do you think you can change things here
Thanks for
today?
reminding me.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Yeah. Do you think you're on the cards though for at least a podium?
Oh, easy podium as long as I don't be stupid.
Yeah, let's try not to do that again, and maybe try not to have the same comments you made over team radio as you did last time round.
Of course,
Maybe,
of course.
yeah,
This is a family-friendly stream after all.
Of course.
Family-friendly stream mostly.
I would never say such horrible words as flip or heck.
Craziness. No. That's absolute. That's flabbergasting that you even think of that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay, yeah. No, it doesn't. You have Eric Guillory and Jace Mayer joining you, keeping you company here in this race. The 20 car of Leo, he is not here this race. Do you think that's going to affect the team standings at all?
It should be all right. It will definitely affect them. That's like not a doubt. But so would any teammate not driving. So
yeah, that's fair. Speaking of your other teammates, Jason, Eric, I would say haven't gotten the best results. They've shown flashes in the pan. Do you think they can do a bit better this race than they have in the past?
What's his name? Jace? Yeah, Jace is honestly on the pace for this race, at least from what I've seen on Garage Race 61. And Eric forgot that this race existed, apparently, so...
His goal, I think he has the goal of better than last race, which was 5 laps down.
It'll be a challenge.
Be a challenge. All right. Thank you for talking to us as always, and we'll get you back into your team.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was Gale Rolls, owner, and currently sits highest in the practice for Rodent Racing.
Yeah, he's on a move right now. Of course, he said he's running race laps, and it's only 8.5 tenths off of the qualifying trim, or qualifying run rather, that Brandon Gass and Larry Miles were running. So it'll be interesting to see how much of a lap he can really put down if he tries to run a qualifying lap here in practice.
Absolutely, and I'd say since we're got about 5 minutes left to practice, let's just do some more interviews. Next up, Rick Raven, currently sitting 5th in the practice. Rick, it's Elliot and Nick up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey, Rick. So, currently 5th in practice. Do you think you have a bit more pace in here, or are you just chilling out right now?
I'm chilling, bro.
Chilling. All right. Currently have the points lead, but it's closing ever so slightly. You need a good result here today to help protect your lead into the 500. How you think you can best Larry here in this race?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're going to do our best. We have yet to run on red tires, so obviously there's a little more pace in that. We would set a better number if I put the reds on. We're going to do that in qualifying and get a good qualifying time. We're not sure yet if we're going to start on the reds or blacks, so not really sure how this race is going to pan out, but it's a long race, 65 laps I think it is, so
68.
anything can happen. What is it?
68 laps.
Even longer than I thought. Yeah. Well, I love it that way. It's like I think that's about the real distance, isn't it?
It's around it's 80% of the real distance.
The longer the race, the better I like it. So, Vantage is a great league. Happy to be here. Happy to be involved in the points chase. Larry Miles right on our heels. And it's exciting for the fans to see, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Last race, Larry bested you with a last lap pass.
Yeah, don't remind me.
You're gonna try and do the same thing to him this time around?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay right behind him on the last lap. I'm gonna try to get him in the last corner. That's the plan.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get back to your laps. A pleasure talking to you as always, and we'll see you out in qualifying.
All right, thank you, my man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That was Rick Raven, current points leader. Says he's chilling out in practice right now, hoping to do a little better in qualifying.
So Elliot with a habit of reminding drivers of past trauma, it would seem. First Gale Rolls, then Rick Raven.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of drivers having trauma. It seems everyone besides Larry Miles struggling at some point. Info from Brandon Gass. They have 18 laps of fuel, and they need 23 to do a 2-stop. So it's most likely going to be a 3-stop strategy.
Either a 3-stop or someone hoping for a caution at some point, maybe. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes.
Absolutely. Well, practice is coming to a close just shortly. Gas just slightly improved his time. It's down to a 12.900. Miles still with that 9.34. Definitely some fast laps. According to Gale Rolls, though, those are qualifying times. He's on those race laps. So interesting to see how things are in qualifying.
Yeah, interesting to see guys spend all of practicing their qualifying run. And you have guys like Rick Raven, Gale Rolls, and others on the black tires running some race trim.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, as we come to the end of practice, let's go ahead and roll this intro. And we'll let these guys finish up their practice laps. We'll let you at home get a snack, and we'll be right back, folks, for the start of Vantage Indy Special League qualifying. And we are back. Practice just now coming to an end. Brandon Gass went fastest in practice. We'll see who goes fastest in qualifying. This is what sets the grid. 10-minute qualifying. Elliot, any predictions on who gets pole here today?
Honestly, I'm still feeling it might be Gale Rolls. He hinted that he was just doing race laps, and he has 3 poles on the season already. It may even be 4 by now. I think he might have gotten his 4th pole last time around, so he has the most poles of the season by anyone, more than anyone by far. So I think he might be able to walk away with another one this time around. But Brandon Gass, Larry Miles, they were running very fast in practice as well.
That they were. I think it's going to be very, very close. Rick Raven, there's a car off in the background. It actually is Rick Raven who's off in the background. So not the best start to qualifying. I think he went actually back to the pits there. with those dirty
Yeah,
tires.
Important note, it seems due to an incident in practice, Markamini has retired from the race.
Oh, wow. So he's completely done. He's not going to start the race. He won't get any points as he won't even turn a single race lap. Oh, dear. Not what you want to see if you're a Markamini fan at home.
Yeah, unless he can get his car pulled together very quickly, that 77 is not going to get to take the green flag.
Well, that is a rough break for him, for sure. And it looks like Jace Mayer, no. Yeah.
Oh, Jace Mayer with a little
smacked the
left tap
wall.
against the wall at the exit. That's going to ruin his flying lap, which is starting just now.
He'll be the first one to set one. Casey Keller, just behind him, didn't smack the wall to my knowledge, so he'll be on a flyer as well. But we'll see as these times roll in. Jace Mayer, Gale Rolls starting a lap as well. I think we're going to keep an eye, like you said, on Gale Rolls. Interested to see what his pace is. Of course, everyone's going to be on the red stripe alternates, to my knowledge anyways.
Except James Staples and Dustin Stout, both on those black wall tires.
Dustin Stout, who I don't think set a single lap in practice.
No, he did not. Neither did. Jace Mayer and Dustin Stout not setting laps in practice.
Very interesting. I'm not sure what the strategy is there. Maybe they've got a lot of practice over the week. Maybe they're familiar with the track and they feel comfortable with this car track combo. Either way, we'll have to see how that pans out for them.
Rick Raven appears to be closing in on... Actually, no, his sector times just changed. No one set a lap yet, though, but
Jace
people
Mayer
are getting close.
Jace Mayer is going to finish up his lap. Remember, he smacked the wall in the exit of 14. Let's see what it is. Ooh, it's only a 1:14.2. That's about 2 seconds.
No, 14.02.
1:14.02, and there you see it
Casey
already.
Keller, 13.6. Is that Gale Rolls behind him? Yes, it
is.
is. Gale Rolls,
well clear of everybody.
2.5 tenths faster than what Gas did in practice.
I think Gas had a problem. I think he smacked the wall there. Gas going slowly.
Oh, yeah, Gas, yellow flags. He had to reset.
Where's Larry Miles, championship hopeful? Where does he go? Did his lap get invalidated? No, it's second place. Took a second update. Still 0.3 of a second as Tyler Justice crosses the line. Gale Rolls put in a stonker.
Yeah, Rolls putting it. Rick Raven, though, putting in a stonker as well. 12.8.
Raven second, yeah. Still a full tenth. 1 full tenth behind Gale Rolls, who is in the pits. Will he just go off with that one lap?
I think he might be just getting a new set of tires going out right at the end to secure that pole position. Currently, Dustin Stout setting his lap 17.8. Staples with an 18.2.
I think Staples and Stout, maybe those are just outlaps. Oh, Stout, though. That's going to be his qualifying done. He locks up in turn 1, has to take the super long escape route, and of course...
Which is actually faster than the main route.
That's going to...
Sanaga. Oh, Matthias Markamini, he's back.
Markamini is back. Okay, so he's got...
The Markamini fans can rejoice.
Argentina on their feet right now. Their hero, their driver.
Matthias Markamini, the Argentinian GOAT.
And Larry Miles goes fastest by 0.3 of a second over Gale Rolls.
Holy moly.
What does
Rolls
Rick Raven have
still
here?
not out on track.
Rick Raven? Second
only
place.
P2, 12.6.
Gauntlet thrown down by Larry Miles. Does anyone have anything for that? Here comes Brendan Gass. And it's seemingly 2 invalidated laps. It doesn't look like he...
Yeah, didn't get a lap time together.
No, he didn't. That is
bad luck for him.
Rough.
Rolls needs to go out on track soon, presumably, if he wants to get another time on the board, which he will want to secure that pole position.
Yeah, he's still in the pits. It's going to take about, gosh, maybe a minute and a half if you're going quickly on an outlap.
Maybe Casey Keller across the line for his next lap. His bad lap, only a 1:16.8, doesn't improve on his best.
So Keller's done.
Oh, Jace Mayer, 13.8. He's P5. That's his best qualifying so far of the season.
It is. We'll see if anyone can top it.
Gale Rolls still not on track. This is definitely a developing story here in qualifying. He needs to get out within the next 2 minutes if he wants to get that lap time together.
He's got to get out there. He's got to get something going. Marcomini's on track. Brandon Gass finishing up a lap.
Yeah, Marcomini on his out lap now.
P4 for Gass.
Still half a second off his practice time. So we know he can improve, but even if he does set that practice time, he'll still only be P4.
That's true, and he's P4 right now. He's gonna have to find at least 7 whole tenths to jump Gale Rolls into third. That was a huge ask. I think perhaps not getting those first 2 laps in might have forced Brandon to be a little bit more conservative, get a lap in for sure, a banker lap. Otherwise, he risks starting outside the top 10. Tyler Justice going to be finishing up a lap here. He currently sits 7th. His Rolls on track.
Thought about leaving the track just a second there. No, he's thought about leaving the track. Ended up reversing back into his pit stall. His teammate Jace Mayer, though, is getting back out on track.
Interesting. He's got maybe a minute.
Rolls is leaving it to the last second.
He's gonna be real close. If he doesn't leave within the next minute, he risks not being able to start a lap at all.
Yeah, it takes around a minute 25 to get around the track from an out lap. You also have to factor in you need to get tire warm up and a good gap. So he needs to get a move on.
He does. He needs to find a gap as well, like you said. Giving yourself enough time is one thing, but if you have traffic in front of you, it's almost completely useless.
Oh, Raven and Gas both leaving right behind each other.
Yeah, Rick Raven locked up into turn 1. He had to restart. Gas going out there. Gale Rolls. No movement in the 5 pits at all. Minute 50.
He's pushing it late.
Miles is around.
Miles spinning in the final sector. Might have been on for a bit of a barn burner lap there.
I guess we'll never know.
We'll say, as Jace Mayer starting his presumably final flying lap, he might be able to get one more in after this, but will his tires still be good enough at that point to set a competitive second flying lap in a row?
It's going to be close. I don't think Gale Rolls is going to go out. Eric Guillory finishing up his second flyer. I don't think he got a good one in the first time. Looks like it got invalidated, but Guillory good enough for 8th. 2.3
good enough
off.
for 8th there.
So Gale Rolls?
Yeah,
I don't.
Rolls is not going to be able to set a lap time.
It's too late. It's too late. He's going to leave it, and he's going to hope that Brandon doesn't find 5 tenths.
Jace Mayer, 2 back-to-back green sectors. 3 back-to-back green sectors.
Could be good. Sits in 6th, a 10th behind Casey Keller, 5 tenths behind Brandon Gass.
Keller in the pits, not able to set another lap. Mayer out of the final braking zone, out of the final corner.
Here we go. The run to the line for Jace Mayer. Sits in 6th. Does he improve?
13.3. He improves, getting ahead of Casey Keller for 5th.
Brandon Gass is on track. He's got traffic.
Only half a tenth off Brandon Gass there.
Speaking of Gass, he's right behind Rick Raven. That dirty air, I think, is going to cost him. Rick Raven going to be finishing up his 5th lap here in qualifying. Same for Brandon Gass. Qualifying has officially ended. The session is over. Rick Raven is abandoning. That could be it. What does Gass have? Final corners for Gass.
Gass has a bit of a bad exit there of the final braking zone.
He's got to get as much time as he can here.
Had a not only improved by around a tenth. He had a really good first sector, set the fastest first sector of the entire session. As Marcomini, due to internet problems, he's retired from the race. He's left the session. He is not going to start. He tried to go out for qualifying, but not able to make it work.
So it's dust.
The Argentinians can no longer rejoice.
No, yeah, it's over for Team Argentina, for Team Matthias Marcomini and the 77 crew.
Jace Mayer still on track.
Does he
trying to beat his lap time. He is improving currently. He ran a 13.00. It seems like though it wasn't validated. If he had just gone that lap green, he would have jumped gas for 4th.
So Larry Miles, pole position by a full 10th. Rick Raven could not get there. He had to abort that final lap. So it's going to be Larry Miles. That's one more bonus point to Larry Miles. Championship fight gets ever so closer.
Yeah, Gale Rolls also not able to. You don't know what his true pace is, considering he only did 1 lap.
He set a single lap. Everyone else got at least 3 to 4 laps in. Maybe he's saving the secret weapon for the race. I'm not sure.
Saving the sauce. Who knows?
He's saving. Yeah, he didn't show his hand in practice. Dare I say, he didn't even really show his hand in qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, he showed enough of his hand to know he's fast there, but
maybe that's all he needs. Maybe he's onto something. What's he cooking? What's Gale Rolls cooking? We're gonna have to wait to find out.
What is he cooking?
He's gonna come out on wet tires, some kind of reverse strategy. I don't know. We'll find out.
Who knows? This is going to be a good question. What tire compounds is everyone starting on? Because here, this track isn't really too terrible on tires.
It's not.
Kind of flat, though, which will burn it up in the chicanes. But all in all, the long, slow speed, there are a lot of long, slow speed corners, which aren't going to hurt it too much.
Absolutely. So Larry Miles, Rick Raven, front row. Second row, Gale Rolls and Brandon Gass, P3 and P4, P5 and P6. Jace Mayer and Casey Keller there in the bright pink number 71 car. P7, P8 in row 4. Justice and Eric Guillory. That's P7, P8. P9 and 10 in row 5. The 2 newcomers, James Stables and Dustin Stout. That's going to round out the field because Matthias Marcomini, it's going to say DNQ here. He's also not racing in this race. Unfortunate for him. Unfortunate for his team. Would have liked to seen what Marcomini could do.
Yeah, Horsepower Hill Racing, after taking a 1-2 in the Vantage Pro Series Championship, currently struggling here in the Vantage Indy Special League.
Not going their way. They need some Daniel Michel action is what they need.
They need some Daniel Michel action, certainly, which you might get, who knows, in the Vindy 500.
You just could, as we wait for everyone to grid up. Let's take a look at the championship standings here for the Vantage Indy Special League. It is Rick Raven, who is now only 8 points clear after qualifying of Larry Miles. Casey Keller is thereabouts. A tie for Gale Rolls and Tyler Justice. You can see the team standings. Aftershock leading the way. That is Rick Raven's team. So all things Raven right now in the standings.
Yeah, and important to note here, as we get ready to go into our formation lap tire compounds, Miles and Raven, the entire front row on the alternates, entire second row, that's Rolls and Gas, they're on the primaries, the black wall tires. Mayer and Keller both starting on the alternates. Same thing with Guillory and Justice, with James Staples closing things out with the primary compound. Dustin Stout not actually taking to the track and may have missed the start. He's still in the session, but he did not jump on track and may have had a mistimed bathroom break.
Yeah,
hopefully he can get things started.
He's not there right now, but let's hope for Dustin Stout's sake that he can get on track with these guys and get racing. We would hate for him to have missed this race. Get some on-track experience at Indianapolis. 2 weeks before the 500, 1 week before qualifying for the Indy 500. Big points on offer here today. Larry Miles looking to close in. Of course, you lead a lap, you get a bonus point. You got pole position. Larry Miles did that. He gets that bonus point. You lead the most laps, you get 5 bonus points. And then, of course, the best way to get the most points is to win the race, which Larry Miles and Rick Raven have done twice each this season. That head-to-head fight coming to multiple battles, including Road Atlanta 2 weeks ago, where we saw a last lap pass. Larry Miles took it to Rick Raven.
Last corner pass at that.
Yeah, last corner into the final chicane at Road Atlanta. Grandstand finish. Rick Raven, I'm sure, would want a little bit of revenge, and I'm sure Jacob Hoskins, this team owner watching at home, would also like to see his driver in victory lane at Indianapolis. Get some preview for the Indy 500, perhaps.
Yeah, an important note for the championship, the Indy 500, a double points race. So it's going to be very important that these guys built that Raven or Miles build up as big of a lead as they can today, so they have a bit of protection going into the 500.
That could absolutely flip things over. Of course, winning is important in the 500, but if you survive, get a good points finish, that could go a very long way. Of course, 22 race season, running until the end of the year, so plenty of time to make ground up, to lose ground, to have a crazy comeback perhaps if you're an Eric Guillory, a Gale Rolls, something like that. But attendance is important. You get one drop round over the course of 22 races. Consistency, also important. And when it's been Miles, it's been Raven at the front of nearly every single session of every single race.
Yeah. And there's also those all-important 5 consistency points you get for showing up to a race.
That's true.
Every race you show up to, you get 5 free points on offer, no matter where you finish, as long as you take the green flag.
Which Matthias Marcamini and seemingly Dustin Stout will not be doing.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him. Pace car is in.
Here we go. Round 7. Thanks for watching, everyone at home. We got great action coming your way. It's Miles, it's Raven on the front row. The 2 championship rivals gonna go at it once again here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The Vantage Indy Special League Grand Prix of Indianapolis is coming to the green. All eyes on Larry Miles. All eyes on Rick Raven. Who will come out on top? Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. We are racing. Look at the start there from Rick Raven. He already overtakes the lead. Incredible. Run down to turn 1. Here comes Brandon Gass around the outside. He's looking to outbrake everyone into turn 1. Larry Miles early on the brakes. Here comes Gale Rolls into turn 1. Can he get alongside Larry Miles for 3rd place? Rick Raven leads. Brandon Gass 2nd. Larry Miles, bad start for the championship hopeful. Oh!
Contact there. That's Keller and
Casey Keller.
Guillory. Keller losing his wheel. That's big suspension damage for him.
Terrible start.
He's gonna have to limp it back to pit lane with big damage.
Awful start for Casey Keller. Gale Rolls having to peek up the inside of Larry Miles. Almost makes contact.
Almost makes contact. His teammate Eric Guillory nearly runs into the back rolls due to that compromised exit. Can we just say though, Brandon Gass with that beautiful start from 4th to 2nd as Larry Miles is now trying to make back ground. He moves up into 2nd right around Gass.
Gass
looking to the outside.
Trying to hold on to it, on board with Gass. Important to note the different tire compounds. Front 2 on the red alternates, Brandon Gass, and I think it was Gale Rolls, yes, on the black stripes. Dustin Stout, by the way, he's in the pits. He's on track.
So we will get those 5 points, and importantly, he is technically on the lead lap currently.
He is.
And if we get a caution, he will, no matter what happens, he's going to get that 1 lap back if he does fall a lap down. And all the chaos of that first lap action, Larry Miles and the entire field fell around a 2.5 seconds off Rick Raven. Raven comfortably the leader.
Yeah, Rick Raven had an absolutely electric start. He left Larry Miles in the dust. Maybe Larry was being a little bit too cautious. He was early on the brakes. He almost dropped to 4th because of it, but he's gotten back to 2nd, and now we have a train of cars behind Brandon Gass. It'll be interesting to see how these guys use their push to pass as well. No one's used it yet. 200 seconds of push to pass for this race. So that's something else to look out for.
Yeah, and this lap, Larry Miles gap now 1.3 seconds, so he closed the 10th that time round. Miles definitely showing he has the pace.
And he's on the same strategy as the race leader as well. So undercuts, overcuts, going long, going short. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. If he can't get there on pace, which he might be able to, under 1.2 seconds. Rick Raven just set the fastest lap, and Larry Miles takes it away from him immediately. 1:13.32 for Larry Miles.
Yeah, everyone else in the field notably is in the 14s or higher. Only the top 2 cars in those 13s.
Dustin Stout in the way of the leaders. He's about to get lapped here. This could be interesting. Oh! Rick Raven
lost his ring.
He did. Oh, it's back.
Witchcraft being involved here.
Dustin Stout back to the pits. Here comes Larry Miles up the inside into the lead. The lapped car got in the way. Rick Raven surely can't be too happy with Dustin Stout in that situation.
Can't be. He has some sort of damage. 4X's flying there. That means there's a bit of damage to those cars.
We saw momentarily that he seemingly lost part of his front wing, and then Went back.
Notably, Matthias Marcamini is on track. He's going to have to pull in due to internet issues, but he did set a lap under green flag conditions. He is on track in a race session. So he's going to get those points.
He will get at least something. Better than nothing. Larry Miles out front. Rick Raven second. Brendan Gass in third. Everyone else pretty equally spaced throughout the field. And Marcamini, Matthias Marcamini actually has damage. He's blinking in and out. His front wing is completely gone. Problem there for the Argentinian. And Casey Keller is missing a front wing as well. Or at least part of it. Is that from the start of the race? He's just keeping going. Surely.
I think that is from the start of the race start there. Dustin Stout, important to note, receiving an official incident warning there for that contact made with the leader, Rick Raven.
Yeah, that's such a hard break for Rick Raven.
Leader.
He doesn't lost too much time, so maybe, and it happened with me in VAST the other day. I got a ×4, but I didn't get any damage in my vehicle. Perhaps with the disconnection issues or something, I'm blinking in and out just in the right time. Maybe Rick Raven got away with one.
Absolutely, that could be the case, but he does have that one fast repair to save him just in case there is a little bit of damage. So his fight is not over yet. The day is not done.
Not at all. And I'll tell you what, even if he does have damage, doesn't seem to be an issue. He's keeping pace with Larry Miles right now.
No, not at all. He's performing beautifully with his current car's condition.
I think he's driving angry. He's late on the brakes there. Every time in a turn one, he's very, very late on the brakes.
Yeah, well, I mean, you saw in turn one, he was able to take the lead from Miles because Miles was being super conservative on those brakes.
So we'll see what happens through the chicane now. Gap is around 5 to 6/10 of a second throughout the entire lap. And those two maintaining pace further back. Eric Guillory could be under attack from Jason
Guillory with a penalty. I think he has a meatball. He has a slowdown penalty there for some corner cutting. Ooh, bad place to let them pass. Yeah, that penalty is now cleared. Important to note, though, Dustin Stout after that.
Contact. There is contact. Justice lost a bit of front wing.
Loses his ring. That's a tough break there for Justice. Important to note, Dustin Stout has retired from the event after that contact with Rick Raven, that lap traffic little swing there. Tyler Justice, though, losing half his front wing. Is he going to pit here for a change, or is he just going to stay out? He is staying out.
We've seen with Keller
he's gonna try and drive on it.
That you can kind of muscle it around. Now, of course, he'll be a little bit off pace, but it obviously isn't race ending. You can see Casey Keller has caught up to James Staples.
Fighting Staples.
And here he goes.
Less front wings does mean less drag, so he will have the top speed.
And he's using a bit of push to pass into turn one. Late on the brakes. Does he have the downforce? Does he have the downforce? Runs a little wide, but holds on to it. Casey Keller with half a front wing gets a overtake done.
Important to note in the Discord chat, the Vantage Indy Special League chat, Dustin Stout has apologized to Rick Raven following that incident. So good to see that no one's angry with each other there, or at least Stout isn't angry at all with Rick Raven for ending his race.
Yeah, he's not. He's just an honest mistake. Bad place to catch the leaders, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, speaking of the leaders, Gale Rolls closing in to Brandon Gass. 7/10 separate for the battle for third.
Gass would love to get a podium here. I'm sure Rolls would love to as well. I know he has pace. Both these guys had pace. They were both fast in practice. And
look under braking there how much Rolls just closed in.
Yeah, he got really close. These two are the two on the primaries. The black stripe primary tires. So they're on the same strategy.
Going for an alternate strategy. Only the other driver trying to replicate them, James Staples, in his first start in Vantage, but not really in contention for the win unless something crazy happens, which, knowing it's VISL, anything can happen.
Anything could.
But currently, as things stand, Gass and Rolls, the two main rivals on the primaries.
And they're going to be going at it here. Rolls really caught up to Gass at the end of the straightaway there. They both have full push to pass still. We'll see if anyone uses it. Here comes Gale Rolls. Oh, Gas just lets him by.
Gas breaks early. I think he's trying to get the exit. There he does, but he had to back out of it. Rolls was where he wanted, but here's Gas again on the exit.
Slow exit
he's
from
not
Rolls.
able to get the run. Both cars with slow exit. Gas, I think, just being scared when he sees a car ahead of him, not really willing to risk closing in the gap.
It is still early stages. I could see where he's coming from, not wanting to push the envelope as he goes to the outside here. Look how defensive Rolls is into turn one. Do we see a cutback? Gas tries to sneak up the outside. I think Gas actually scraped the wall on entry into one as well.
Yeah, using all the track he could there. Got a little peek around the outside. Rolls just did a little wiggle, and that just flashed his cars there, and that backed Gas out of that corner.
This Gas runs a little bit wide on the chicane. No harm, no foul. The gap out front, by the way, has closed in again. It was around a second. Rick Raven looks like he's recharged, found some pace, and he's closing back in for the race lead.
Yeah, he certainly has. It's going to be very interesting to see. Raven, pretty sure, knowing how he's been in the past, he is faster on those longer corners. It's hard to beat Larry Miles on the brakes, though. Miles, once he's turned on, he can get. Once the car's turned on, once he's gotten up to, once he's opened things up, he can definitely be later on the brakes than Rick Raven.
Yeah, these two, cream of the crop right now in VISL over the course of the season. 1-2 in the championship. Larry Miles looking to close in here. He's led the last couple of laps. Rick Raven, though, you can see late on the brakes into one. Larry Miles gets a better exit, and it stays around 0.6 of a second.
Oh, Tyler Justice, with that front wing damage, he's driving off track. Got a 1x there for an off-track penalty. Important to note on that. It seems Gas losing pace to Rolls there after that pass, but Rick Raven still closing into Larry Miles for the lead. Both drivers on the alternate compound of tire.
Larry Miles has 9 less seconds of push to pass. Rick Raven still at the full 200. Larry at the 191. I think Miles used his to overtake Raven when there was that incident with the lapped car of Dustin Stout.
Yeah, presumably both drivers at Road Atlanta a couple weeks back saved their push to pass to the very end. Miles specifically, he used 100 seconds of push to pass in the last 3 laps of the race.
My goodness. Well, it seems to work out for him, and I think we might have a similar dance here today because we're 9 laps in, and the only time any one of them has used push to pass was to overtake the other. So keep an eye on that as the race goes on.
Yeah, certainly. Gap half a second now. Closest it's been yet. Oh, big close there. Under braking.
My goodness.
Raven taking risks here in turn one.
Yeah, a little bit of risk, Raven, if you will, into turn one, trying to close the gap. I had to.
Yeah, the amount of vast puns I made on Thursday this is justified.
Closing in, I think Rick Raven, he's going to try and get it done on pure pace alone. Of course, come pit stop time, we'll see how it goes. We saw at the Homestead Road Course, these two ran the same strategy. Larry, I think, learned his lesson of trying not to run exactly the same pit strategy as Raven then, even if it means coming in 1 lap earlier or later. We'll see. Brandon Gass, of course, told us they have 18 laps of fuel, I think it was.
Yeah, he said 18 laps, and for a 2-stop, you need 23. So he might be trying to save fuel. He's running around a second off what Gale Rolls is running ahead of him.
Yeah, he could
Curious
just be
to
safe.
see how that changes things. It doesn't seem like the leaders are saving at all, that's for sure. So they are going to be on the 3-stop strategy, almost guaranteed.
We'll see if that difference can come to a head at the end of the race. Rick Raven getting real close, right to the gearbox into turn one. Doesn't make a move, but he closes in. He's going to make a challenge,
no dice just
surely.
yet. Though noticeably in turn one, because he's braking so much later, he's having that much worse of an exit. That's why in these chicanes, Miles is able to keep that position. He just has the better exit. He's able to get off the brakes earlier, get back on the power sooner, and drive away from Rick Raven.
0.3 of a second is the gap. Under 0.3. Raven's going to have a real good shot if he can follow closely, and that's the big challenge, following closely. A little bit of dirty air. Not as bad, of course, as something like Formula One, but dirty air still is a factor in IndyCar.
Yeah, definitely, especially at Road Atlanta. It was terrible here through these chicanes with how close these cars are running. Raven is going to be feeling it big time. Again, another big close. Oh, Brandon Gass.
Gas is off the track.
Quick yellow flag there. Just off the track. Jason Mayer able to get around him. No damage, it seems.
We'll see if Rick Raven can use the slipstream here. He got a good exit off the final corner. 0.3 of a second. Over the line is the gap. Can he make a lunge into turn 1? It's going to have to be a lunge if he wants to overtake Larry Miles. And a matter of fact,
looks like he backed out of it just a little bit there.
He's setting
trying
up.
to get this exit. He is got a similar exit there to Miles that time round. I think he might be setting up for this backstretch.
I think it'll be important to get a good exit here. Just keep it close.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's close enough this time round. Though a big close-up, he has to maintain through this dirty air-filled chicane.
And Larry Miles knows exactly what he's doing, by the way. Miles, both these guys actually are great defensive drivers. Larry Miles, I think he's trying to back him up. Arrow blocking, you'll hear the term in NASCAR. Could be done similarly here. Maybe go a little bit slower through the apex of chicanes. Get the drive off. Try and use that air to push your opponent wide. We've seen Raven be about 3 to 4 tenths off this corner, and it's not close enough unless he uses push to pass.
That last sector, he was a 10th off. This time he was a 10th up. Still 3/10 of a gap. He's closer this time than he was last time. Look at how close he is. He might be going for it. No, backing out again.
I think he's just playing a little bit of mind games. He's trying to force Larry into a mistake is what he's doing.
Yeah, I think that's got to be what he's doing. Doesn't want to use up his tires. He's getting a bit of fuel saving, though, from sitting right behind him.
That he is. He can just use that slipstream to carry him along.
Oh, James Staples off track there in the penultimate braking zone. Doesn't seem to have any damage, but he's lost a lot of time there to Casey Keller.
He has. He's 9 seconds, almost 10 seconds now off of Casey Keller. Rick Raven, whole lot closer than that to Larry Miles. Here he goes again.
3/10. Again, same situation. Actually, Raven is 200th further back than he was last lap. So big close this time. Under braking, amazing stuff there. I think that's once again Miles using that arrow defense, trying to float up that apex, take air out of Rick Raven, and just slow him down overall.
And it worked there. 3.5 tenths across the line. Rick Raven's not going to be close enough to make a move.
Though even when he has been close enough, he still has backed out of it. Oh, look how close he got to the gearbox that time round.
Right on the gearbox. Nearly making contact, but not quite. Just close enough to sniff him. You could see a slide there from Rick Raven, so maybe these tires are starting to fall off just a little bit. Alternate lines towards the chicane. He's trying to get clean air.
Yeah, he's really hunting for that clean air. Again, he just needs to have a good final 2 sectors. We're in sector 3 now. Sector 4 is just the last 2 corners, but through sector 3 he needs to keep up, which he is currently doing. But big close that time. He needs the exit. He's not going to get the exit he would have wanted compared to Miles. Though that time round he was a full 10th and a half quicker than he usually is through sector 3.
This is as close as he's been. This is probably his best opportunity. 3/10 there. Look at Larry Miles getting the good exit.
Not getting the exit off the final braking zone, penultimate corner. I think Raven has that push to pass he can use, not using any of it. Or both drivers are using it because there's not as big as a close as you would want to see here. The close just looks purely slipstream based.
Yeah, it is slipstream. No one's touched the push to pass since that overtake. I think they're just biding their time. They're trying to get to this first round of pit stops, and then maybe the gloves will be off from there.
Yeah, I mean, we're about 4 laps away from those pit stops. I'm looking through the data log. I haven't seen any pit stops just yet from anyone.
No, it doesn't look
like
it.
No one in the pits. Oh, look how close Raven is this time around.
That was almost a disaster for Rick Raven. Slight lockup there from the number 1 car. Championship leader, gotta keep it close, gotta keep it together. This is, that cost him about 4/10.
Yeah, lost him a lot of time. Very notable to see, though. neither driver even considering the pit lane, and they're still only in the 14.6s. So that they're still running faster laps than
most of the field.
Most of the field was running at the beginning.
A little bit slower that time for Raven, nearly a 14.9.
Yeah, half a second off what he normally was running.
That lockup hurt him big. Everyone else very spread out. I think that gas is closing in actually to Jace Mayer after the incident where he went off track.
Yeah, certainly that is what is going on now. As we see for a quick second there, it seems Markamini is just sitting on pit lane. You can't really tell whether he's out or not. He hasn't yet retired, but he hasn't set a lap since he joined 5 laps down and set just an out lap and an in lap to get those points, I think.
Yeah, he's trying. It's just his internet, I don't think, is even allowing him to make any kind of attempt.
Currently sitting at a cool 275 ping.
Oh, not too bad.
Yeah, not too terrible.
That's how it feels when you play Rocket League on Asian servers.
Saved him from running in to Larry Miles is the fact that he locked his rears, which sent him spinning, instead of locked his fronts, which sent him plowing.
Yeah, it was a near disaster. So that's the second time we've seen a lockup from Rick Raven, and he's going to start flat spotting those tires sooner rather than later.
Yeah, certainly is. Gap now 2.5, losing all the time. He's really pushing hard now. He might want to be considering a pit stop. I think these alternate tires are starting to get away from him right about now.
They just might be. But back to what you were saying earlier. We'll see if they...
Oh, Larry Miles in the pits.
Oh,
Larry Miles is in the pits. Rick Raven stays out.
Wow. So Larry Miles taking command of the pit cycle. He is not letting the car behind Rick Raven dictate what his strategy is. He saw his lockup. Maybe that was the trigger. Maybe he saw that Rick Raven was struggling on those tires and said, okay, I'm going to leave him out there for another lap. Brandon Gass is in. Jason Mayer is in. A lot of these guys pitting exactly 18 laps.
Interesting that Mayer and Gass are in, for fuel, certainly, but I'm curious, what compound are they going to go on?
There are different compounds. Eric Guillory is in. So 18 seems to be the number. Tyler Justice coming in for a lot of these guys. Casey Keller as well. Everyone, actually, but Gale Rolls and Rick Raven into the pits.
Yeah, Raven got that got the fuel save. Larry Miles exiting the pits just now. He switches to those primary tires.
So he's going to try and go long here, I think. And we're looking at a 3-stopper because there's no way, of course, they're going to go another 50 laps.
Well, I mean, at this point, you can't really go long with how close the fuel is.
That is true. Rick Raven's really struggling. He's coming in, but, man, those tires, I think, of Raven.
Nearly drives off track, entering pit lane into the wall there. Very close on him. Rolls also coming down pit lane. Did he get it stopped in time?
I don't know. What's the speed limit here? Is it 40?
40 miles an hour, yeah.
He
did get it stopped in time.
Wow.
He did get it stopped.
That was super borderline.
Just barely. Very, very close. It was a flash before.
So that was Rick Raven. I think his car was past the limit, or those tires, rather, were past the limit. He had no grip on that in-lap. Miles might have played this beautiful.
Miles coming through the final sector here. Keep an eye out on where Rick Raven is in the pit lane.
Raven has the last pit stall, or second to last pit stall, rather.
Miles now on the straight.
Miles.
Raven getting the pull away.
Where is Rick Raven coming out? Larry Miles.
Rick Raven limiter off.
Got him. Larry Miles got him.
Around.
It's going to be very close, though.
Lead.
Red tires for Rick Raven. He's right behind him. He's got ice-cold tires, but he's got the faster compound. And he's going to make a move up the inside, and the lead is back to the number 1 car. Do we see a cutback from Larry Miles? No, it's positioned beautifully from Rick Raven. New race leader. The overcut worked, or the undercut worked, until it didn't.
Yeah, Raven got the overcut there on pit exit, but notably, he is on the alternate tires. He stayed on those tires. Larry Miles switching his compound as Gale Rolls. Gale Rolls crashed out in turn 4.
Oh, Gale Rolls out of the race. Gale rolls. What
Once
happened?
again, it seems in the chicane, he just loses it. Oh, heavy impact into the wall there.
Right, replay now. Let's see what happens. Oh, he lost it. Cold tires, by the way. Massive, massive hit. And that's going to be Gale Roll's day done. He's going to be done.
Yep, he leaving the session, not even wanting to use that fast repair. So I think he is on a 3-race streak of not finishing.
Qualifying is Gale Roll's thing. The race, not so much. And I think if
James
you're
Staples
Larry Miles
leaving the pits.
Oh, yeah, it is. He's right behind the leaders. Luckily, he doesn't impede anybody. Doesn't get in the way of anyone.
Oh, and Matthias Marcomini has dropped due to upload packet loss.
Oh, he's out. Is he out? Out?
I think he's out.
He could be done for then.
Finally.
The good fight is over.
He gave it a good old college try with that one.
He did. So if you're Larry Miles, you saw Rick Raven struggling towards the end of that stint. I mean, he's 2 seconds back now. Do you try and push Rick Raven, or do you run your own race?
I don't know. But currently, looking at the sector times, Rick Raven going for fastest lap. Fastest first sector, fastest third sector, personal best second sector.
Time to beat is
He
a
might be able to
113.2.
113.3 actually.
113.3.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to wait for these alternate tires that Rick Raven has to just start to fall off.
And we'll see. We'll get to see in real time what the deficit is, because of course they both started the race on the Reds.
Yeah, and this is a very similar situation actually to Road Atlanta. At the end of the race, Rick Raven was on those alternates, Larry Miles was on those primaries, and he closed in 5 seconds in 5 laps at the end of that race. So it's not out of the question yet that these tires can fall off there for Rick Raven, especially with how hard he is pushing them.
Absolutely. Maybe he just wanted to get the fastest lap. We'll see what this lap is if he starts to back it off now. Or maybe he's going to try and build a gap to Larry Miles and neutralize any threat of an undercut.
Yeah, certainly gap 3 seconds by this point. No real close action on track. I think we're in a little bit of a chill period as of right now. Battle was going on for a while, and I think until that Gale Rolls crash, everything was on the table. But after that crash, I think everyone just calmed down, realized their cold tires, and settled into a rhythm.
Yeah, this is going to be the strategy part of the race, where no one's really going to race each other on track. They're going to try and build or close gaps, except for maybe Jace Mayer. He's trying to close into Brandon Gass.
Yeah, Mayer not getting the results over the past couple races that he would have wanted, but currently sits 4th this time after the incident with his teammate Gale Rolls. Could be on for his first podium of the season. Brandon Gass also on potentially for his first podium of the season.
Yeah, he had a good run at Long Beach and came short of a podium then, but looking for a top 3 finish here today. Runner-up in the last 2 Vantage races he started in, that being Vast at Daytona and the season finale of the Vantage Pro Series at Homestead. Twice finishing second to Daniel Michel, which is something a lot of people I'm sure can say they've done.
Yeah, actually 24 other people at least can say that.
That's
considering
true.
How many wins Daniel Michel has. Actually, second most all time on the win list is a tie right now between myself and Larry Miles.
Is that 2?
Yeah, currently at 2.
So quite the gap.
Actually, no, I'm currently at 3 wins. So if Larry Miles wins today, he will be. Larry Miles and I are both on 3 wins.
So,
1 Vantage Pro Series win for Miles and 2 wins here. I'm at 3 Vantage Pro Series wins.
well, there you go.
I might have to make more starts if I want to take back that second place.
That's true. Or you could have a 20-race win streak and try and tie Daniel.
Yeah, I think that's going to take a little bit.
It just might, especially if Daniel himself is racing in these races. Jace Mayer has closed the gap to Brandon Gass. 1.7 now. That's the closest fight on track.
Yeah, 1.8 across the sector marker, entering sector 3, in the last sector here.
1.2.
Mayer, a 10th faster last lap. He ran 5/10 faster in sector 2, ran 5/10 faster and 6/10 faster actually in sector 3.
So he's closing in very, very quickly. Look at the gap now.
Both drivers on the primary tire, mind you. Everyone actually except Staples and Raven on the primary tire.
Interesting. What is Rick Raven cooking? 5
What
second
is
gap.
he cooking?
That's what he's cooking.
He is cooking a 5-second gap, but as the tires fall off, that gap you've seen can close in a second.
And they pit 18 laps. Rick Raven did 19.
Yeah, using that fuel save to get an extra lap out of things. Mind you, these cars do have multiple fuel maps, 4 of which are used for fuel saving. So you can easily, without having to change too much of your driving, get some extra tenths of laps of fuel out of this, which add up over a run. It's not out of the question that Larry Miles could utilize that and close in on the fuel number he needs.
He might try and go long with the tires. Maybe we are looking at a 3-stopper, however, but just a matter of what tires you use and when. You have to use one of each compound, the top 2. Only one of them has. Rick Raven went soft, or alternate, I should say.
Yeah, Jace Mayer not having as good of a lap this time around. He lost 2/10 in sector 2, gained those immediately back in sector 3. Through the final sector, though, time again matchy, but gap's now 1.3 seconds.
1.3 into turn 1. Jace Mayer trying to get a podium. Brandon Gass also trying to get a podium.
1.17 now across the first sector.
So it seems that maybe Brandon Gass has a faster straight line speed compared to Jace Mayer, but in the corners, Mayer is faster.
Yeah, that's just a matter of the fact that Mayer is going later on the brakes.
Look at
Gass
that.
is going earlier, but getting on the power sooner. This is what I was talking about with Raven and Miles. It's actually better over a run to be earlier on the brakes and get on the power earlier, compared to going late on the brakes and having to take a tighter line.
This is as close as he's been.
8/10.
We'll see if this grows down the front straightaway, see if Gass can get this better run.
Important note, though, they are just off of James Staples. Staples had a little bit of a mistake there in the final corner, and they're going to be about 3 to 5 seconds off of lapping him.
That could be interesting. You could see the gap growing. 2/10, 3/10, 4/10. Gass is so much quicker in this straight line with that exit speed. And you're going to see it shrink here in the corners.
And then immediately get back to growing again. Jace Mayer not getting the turn 2 he would have wanted, just barely off that curb. Through 3, again, not the exit. He's not getting the exits he would want here.
Not at all. Gap's over a second again. Gass having a good opening half of the lap to push that gap 3/10 nearly from what it was at the beginning of the lap.
Yeah, but this is where Mayer closes up big time. Though also notably, Brandon Gass, he's going to get not only towed along by James Staples when he closes up, but he's also going to get that dirty air, which is going to hurt him. So it's going to be pretty even. Mayer used to driving in the dirty air. Gass, not at all.
Not as much, no, not one bit. So like you said, he's going to get the tow here, but as soon as they get towards turn 1 and to the technical section of the track, let's go on board actually with Gass. Oh, well, never mind. You see a car getting out of the way. James Staples not wanting to play a part in this battle at all.
Though, notably, in that last 2 sectors, Jace Mayer closed back in, gap under a second.
That it was momentarily. Gass
Brandon
with a
Gass
wide
with a
line.
bad corner trying to get that exit, using his oval experience to maximize these long corners.
Yeah, he's kind of treating it, diamonding off the corner there. It's kind of evened out, so even if it was a mistake, kind of a crisis averted there. Although this part's going to be interesting.
It definitely was because Mayer closed in 3/10.
But he did.
No. Yeah, not the line you'd want to see there. Lost a bit of time actually in Sector 3, though under braking, closing a lot more. I've noticed he started to brake earlier and earlier, adopting a more similar point to Brandon Gas. I think he's seeing what he needs to be doing differently to get up to Gas and eventually make that pass.
Gas going defensive. He's trying to break the toe there. He goes to the bottom of this straightaway. Similar to what we'll see probably in 2 weeks' time, trying to break that toe, the Indy 500 or the Vindy 500 in our case.
Yeah, Jace Mayer, 8/10 off now. Just over 8/10 this time round, not getting the corner he would want there in 3/4.
Gas with a great exit. Gap is growing. Over a second now.
1 second on the dot across the sector markers.
So Gas just bringing her around. Try not to overdrive the tires. Try not to overdrive the car. Gap out front, by the way, 7.6 seconds. Rick Raven is putting on an all-time performance for this stint.
Yeah, ran half a second faster than Miles that last lap.
Miles might be starting to sweat a little bit because he's well out of undercut range. Or maybe he's just going to be patient. Wait till we get to the final stint, which should be coming on pit stops actually in the next 10 to 7 laps, 7 to 10 laps.
Absolutely across the line. Mayer just barely over a second behind Gas. So that momentum he made up these last 2 laps, he lost it all this time round. The gap, they're running very consistent times, very close to each other. I think even if they can't, if Mayer can close up, they're going to be so even that's hard to make an overtake.
It is going to be tough. 1.2 Gas starting to pull away slowly. Jace Mayer changed his driving style to try and get up to Gas, and I think it's starting to backfire.
Yeah, certainly. I think also these tires starting to no longer be at peak performance. Gas, I think, just a little bit better at not only saving those tires but driving on the used ones.
He just might be, but just as we say that, Jace Mayer is close within 9/10 of a second. So Mayer closing in massively.
Gas didn't look like he got the braking as he would have wanted to 2 corners ago at the entry to that little cutaway from the oval. Yeah, 4/10 gained by Mayer through Sector 3. Sector 4 across the line, 2/10 faster Mayer was that time. Gap is under 7/10, closest I think it's been all race.
So we saw from the Miles and Raven battle, you want to be at least 3/10 out of the final corner. Gas, I think he's struggling a little bit with these tires now.
Yeah, it appears to be the case, even though Gas was one of the few who actually started on these tires. Mayer also starting on them, but Mayer, I think, using his knowledge from that first stint a little more than Gas is. Gas might be starting to mirror drive a bit now that he can really see Jace Mayer in those mirrors.
Yeah, he's there. 6/10. He hasn't been this close, I think, at all.
Ever.
Yeah.
5/10 now, 5.5 across the sector marker.
Gas going to probably go very defensive down the front straightaway. He was already doing it. He kind of overdrives the corner a little bit. Doesn't really hit the apex. There, he nails it. Very similar exits for those two. Wildly different lines through the final corner, though.
Yeah, Mayer trying to run up higher first. Gas trying to keep it down. It seems like it works a little better for Gas that time round. 5.52 separate them at the line.
Important to note, look at the timing on the left side for the race lead. 6.8 now. I think the tires are starting to flip performance.
Yeah, that time around, 4/10 faster Miles was than Raven.
We'll keep an eye on the battle for third place. Of course, that's the closest, so that's where the action is. 7/10, creeping towards 8. If Jace Mayer can kind of hold his own in these straightaways, he's going to have a real good chance to overtake Gas pretty soon.
Yeah, and that late braking is once he gets within that 3/10 marker, which we've generally agreed is that point where you can make a dive bomb and get alongside. His late braking is going to come in handy there. Gas not going to be used to braking right up to the corner.
No, he's not. He's going to have to do a little bit of defensive driving. Look at Jason Mayer. Overshot
Mayer
it.
with a little lockup. A minor lockup there on that right front. Going to hurt him a bit, but not too much. Though that exit, he didn't get the exit he would have wanted out of the final braking zone. Gap's going to be just over a second, presumably across line. 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, nearly 1.3.
Wow.
So all the work that Jason Mayer
7/10
did
nearly
was
8.
done away with a single lockup. Now the gap's...
Miles, 6.5 now. Once again, ran another 0.5 faster than Rick Raven. That battle might be heating up.
It could. If you're Rick Raven, maybe got 5 or so laps to hit your quota from what you did last time.
Yeah, and notably, Jace Mayer is in the point over 1.3 seconds where you're not getting as much slipstream anymore, but you are still getting the effects of that dirty air.
Absolutely. He's also in undercut range. Of course, an on-track battle
Yeah.
would be great, but if you're Jace Mayer, do you maybe consider undercutting your rival?
Never mind. Ran 0.6 faster that sector, back down to 0.7.
Oh!
Gas off track.
All undone there. Jason Mayer, nowhere really to go. Going to try and stick it around the outside. It's going to turn into the inside. It's going to turn into third. A crucial mistake from Brandon Gass. All the work he had done here, completely undone. He's on push to pass. Brandon Gass is on push to pass. He wants third place back, and he wants it now. And here he comes with the draft, with the slipstream, up the inside. Who's going to break later?
Mayer does break later.
Do we see a
but
cutback?
Gas, the dive.
Gas got him.
Mayer, I think, has to back out of it. Though that's a big bit of first blood there. Mayer brought to Gas shows to Gas that Mayer is willing to fight for third.
Yeah, it's not a bit. And Gas getting aggressive too. He immediately got on the push to pass. He said, I want this third back right now. And he took it.
That he certainly did.
And a lockup.
Oh,
Big moment.
Gas.
Nowhere for Mayer to go. Had to back out of it. Otherwise, he would have ran over Gas. Luckily, he did just that. And Gas is starting to have a little bit of trouble on these tires.
Yeah, I think Gas's inexperience here in road courses is starting to show through. He's not, once the pressure is put on, he's not as strong as Mayer is in the battle.
We'll see what happens here. Does Jace Mayer use the push to pass, or does he stay patient? Gas with a touch, about a second of push to pass out of that track position. Mayer maybe being a little bit more patient here.
Just under half a second across the line, not in dive bomb range. But Jace Mayer not really been a dive bomb type of person, more wants to overtake mid-corner, it seems, based on what he's shown so far this race.
And if you're Jace Mayer, you have 20 seconds now advantage in push to pass over Brandon Gas. You've seen the mistakes, and I think maybe, just maybe, you realize that the cracks are starting to show in the 92 car. Push him, make him push those tires more than he's comfortable with. Give him a peek here. Look at this. He's playing mind games. Is the 21. Larry Miles is in the pits.
Miles in the pits, going for that massive undercut there. Didn't work out last time, but maybe with the differential and tire compounds, things can change. Miles still has to use those. Still has to use the. Actually, no. Miles has used both tires.
He has.
Raven has not used both tires. Raven's gonna need to go into the primaries. Oh, Gas in the pits.
Gas is in. He's done with these tires. I think he realized they're at their limit, which is good. He doesn't want to lose too much time trying to hold on to these tires. Goes to lap 34, a shorter stint than the last time.
Yeah, but as we've seen with Raven and Miles, in Jace Mayer's case, he's going to get that overcut, especially now that he is in clean air. Miles goes back to the alternates.
He did his mandatory stint on the other tire. Now he's back on the tire maybe he's more comfortable with. Of course, we've seen that be the fastest tire throughout the race.
Casey Keller, yellow flags. I think that was just a minor off track for him. Nothing to complain about. Rick Raven staying out another lap.
So now it's going to be a 2-lap difference between Rick Raven and Larry Miles. We'll see what kind of lap times they put down. This is crucial for Miles. The gap was about 6.5, if I'm not mistaken.
Important to note, Brandon Gass now on the now on the alternate tire as well.
So he's doing his first stint in the reds. We've seen drivers drop these cars with cold tires. It ended Gale Roll's race. You have to be careful here. Of course, it's crucial to go fast, but you do not want to overstep the limit.
Eric Guillory also in the pits, switching it to that alternate tire.
A lot of drivers going on to the reds. Is Rick Raven staying out again? We'll see. He's on the back straightaway now. Jace Mayer is in. So this is it. Where does Jace Mayer come out in relation to Brandon Gass? He was right there with him. As Larry Miles is going to be about him.
Currently in Sector 3 right now, about to re-enter the oval for that quick second before cutting back down near pit entrance. Tyler Justice also coming down pit road. And Rick Raven going down the pit.
50
Raven
seconds.
is in the pits.
51 seconds is the gap to Larry Miles. Got to be careful not to.
A pit stop, looking at the pit stops. Pit stops are around 52 seconds-ish, 51, 52 seconds.
Where's Brandon Gass?
It's going to be close.
In relation to Jace Mayer, we're going to see what this overcut looks like. Jace Mayer exiting the pits now. Brandon Gass is going to get ahead. Well ahead. Brandon Gass
Sailed by him.
got him by a comfortable margin. They're on different tires, by the way. Jace Mayer went back to the black walls.
Yeah, Mayer's still not using the alternates. I think that confirms he's going for the 3-stop.
Absolutely. Larry Miles entering the final corners. Rick Raven just now getting to his pit stall. It's going to be close. Raven's got to go quick.
Very close. Raven.
Oh,
just
so
now
fast.
exiting a stall.
That was really quick.
Wow, he got in 8.2. That's around 0.3 faster than everyone else. 51.8. That's one of the fastest stops we've seen all race long.
He's onto the black walls. Larry Miles, he's miles behind. Pardon the pun.
Miles must have had some sort of mistake with his pit stop there. Trying to look at it.
It was about 7 tenths, almost 7 tenths faster for Rick Raven. And the gap.
Yeah. Gap 5 seconds though.
Down to 4.2.
The undercut did work slightly, but that mistake in pit stop really hurt him.
And he
was just ahead of the leaders, Casey Keller with another off track. He's struggling out here. Curious to see how he behaves when the leaders approach.
Hopefully he gets out of the way, doesn't cost him any problems. Miles already under 4 seconds as we enter the final corner here for Rick Raven. Penultimate now. Trinultimate for Larry Miles. 4 seconds seems to be the gap. Miles on the faster tire. I think he has to make use of this grip advantage he's going to have for the first 5 to 7 laps.
Yeah, and also notably, in Rick Raven's case, with how he's been able to go long, he needs to make it to lap 18-ish, maybe lap 19 with how his fuel has been, and he doesn't need... I think he's going to definitely need to take that 3rd stop, but he might need to have a much shorter stop than Larry Miles.
I think they're going to be right next to each other at the end if this plays out how I think it's going to play out with the tire difference here.
Yeah, it certainly is. Also important to note on that Jace Mayer, Brandon Gass, we were talking about, that I think is off for the time being. 3 seconds separate them. That undercut Gass got was just mega here.
Absolutely massive, yeah. Huge undercut with the pits. Not terribly different. Looking at the pit time for those two, well, about 5 tenths. Close to 4 tenths. Making all the difference, though.
Yeah. Gass also did notably go onto the alternate tires, though.
He did, and it's his first stint on the alternate tires. So we'll see what he can do with this quicker tire until it's not the quicker tire. Larry Miles is trying to prove that. 3.7. I think he has to get this gap down. He has to manage this gap right now with the faster tire, does Larry Miles.
Yeah, across the line, 3.7 across the start-finish straight. Though Miles is going to be better here in these tighter, slow-speed corners because that's where the tires are used more. That's where you can push it more.
3.8. Oh, it's about the same. Rick Raven, he has a way with tires.
Just under 4 across the sector 1. Timing line. So actually, for Rick Raven's case, he is getting a little bit of a toe off Casey Keller.
Yeah, a slight toe from the car ahead. .8. Still the gap. 30 laps remaining here at the Indianapolis Grand Prix here in the Vantage Indy Special League. If you're just joining us, Rick Raven, Larry Miles have been switching the lead back and forth with strategy. We had a battle early on. Same with Brandon Gass and Jace Mayer. That last podium spot up for contention. Gass trying to do some heavy lifting.
One driver that I think is having his best race of the season by far, Eric Guillory, currently sitting in 5th. I think this is his first race where he, as of right now, by this point in the race, every other time he has been over a lap down.
Yeah,
in most cases, he's been a factor of laps down.
So he's having a pretty good run for Eric Guillory.
Absolutely. Gap now over 4 seconds, Miles and Raven.
It's kind of stabilizing, it would seem. Maybe Raven's finding a way to neutralize that advantage that Larry Miles might have. And Miles is going to run a little bit wide, and he's going to lose at least 3/10, I would imagine, from that, if not more. Closer to 5/10.
Yeah, he's losing a lot of time now.
It's the first time we've really seen either of these guys make any kind of mistake running off the track. Of course, Raven did lock up earlier in the race, but across the line it's about 4.5 seconds nearly, with 28 to go.
I think it's all going to come down to this last stint. Rick Raven, now that he's on the dry tires, didn't really run too many laps with them. Didn't run them in practice. Barely ran them in practice. Didn't run them in qualifying. Haven't run them in the race until now. So, it's all going to come down to what this last stop is. Is Raven going to like the primaries where they're at, or is he going to want to switch those red wall alternates?
And same for Larry Miles. What does he do? The red walls don't seem to be working as well for him in terms of catching Rick Raven.
Yeah, I think he saw what Rick Raven was able to do to him on those alternate tires, and he's like, why not give it a try? Not working out for him, though. He seems to be performing better on the black walls.
So who knows? Who knows what we see at the end? I just know it's 4.6 seconds. Larry's got to try something here, some kind of undercut, something along the lines of that. Maybe try and go long. We're about maybe 10 to 12 laps away maybe from green flag pit stops, final round of pit stops. There's a lap car.
Yeah, just a little bit off that. That's Casey Keller there.
Whoa, Casey Keller.
Raven's getting held up ever so slightly by now.
Keller's got to get out of the way, of course. Not necessarily obliged to.
Not obliged to get out of the way, but all the previous time we've seen lap traffic, we have seen them attempt to move out of the way. I say attempt, considering what happened with Dustin Stout.
Yeah,
all those laps ago.
Didn't really go his way. Rick Raven, though, he's getting held up. He's not getting out of the way, is Casey Keller. In fact, he's giving him a lot of dirty air. Larry Miles is going to start closing in because of this.
He across the next sector timer. Miles 0.3 faster.
Rick Raven, oh, he's going to start getting frustrated. Surely he wants him to move, and he's not doing it.
Keller might be our inside man this race, giving the battle back on. As Eric Guillory is entering pit lane for some reason, I don't see any damage on his car. He might be going for a bonker strategy. Rick Raven goes to the inside on Keller there.
And he's going to get him.
Makes the pass before the corner. Is Casey Keller going to fight it?
We'll
see.
Just might. No, he's dropping off pace here. Doesn't mean it's over. The gap was pretty much the same, actually.
Yeah, gap remaining pretty stable. Actually, the gap grew. I think
It did.
Miles is struggling on these alternates.
I think if your Miles, I would say gave it 5 more laps and get you some fresh primaries to the end, because he seems to be struggling on these red walls. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say in this instance. Miles needs to try something rash if he wants to get this 5-second gap closed in. It's not like Road Atlanta where he can just rely on that tire. Tire wear is much lower here, like I said before this race. So it's all about not so much strategy, but more so driving.
Bit of cloud coverage over the final sector. Might start to affect the track temperature just a touch.
Yeah, track temp currently sitting at a nice 123 degrees.
Nice and fresh. Nice hot summer day.
Yeah, a little bit of, some people be like, that's a hot track. No, it's only about an average. It's a little warm, but I've seen track temps here up in the 140s.
Yeah, it's about average, maybe a little bit warmer than average.
Yeah, I think you want them generally under 110 to be considered average. So it's definitely hot, but it can get a whole lot hotter. So maybe these guys here aren't used to these hot conditions as of right now, but it's definitely not showing with how they're driving.
Guillory is out of the race. Something happened with Eric Guillory.
Yeah, has retired.
Retired in the pits.
Now, at least he made it to the pits, unlike all the others.
25 to go here at Indianapolis.
Right around 7 laps-ish till the pit window. Maybe a bit more, a bit less. I just know we're closing in on that magic number 18 to go, where you can guarantee pit and be able to make it out.
Remember, Gas had a bit of a shorter stint last time. He pit on lap 34. I think he's going to be right there.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be cutting it close. Jace Mayer, he's going to be comfortable here. And it's all going to be a matter of what tires do these guys go to.
This battle's closing in. 2.7. Nearly for Jace Mayer.
Yeah, just barely over 3. I've been keeping an eye on it. Kind of starting to warm up. Not really hot yet. Not really back on. But the battle is going to be on eventually, I think.
Definitely. The tires are going to start to flip. Probably right around now. Actually, it's been roughly 10 laps since the pit cycle for these two. So expect to see a flip in performance for the alternates in the primaries. We've been talking about it. It's been a talking point all season. How long the primaries last versus the alternates. And alternates, depending on the track, of course, but it's usually about 7 to 10 laps, more or less, for that peak performance.
Yes, certainly. And this is really hurting Larry Miles as the gap's now 5.6 seconds.
Yeah, it's nearly 6 seconds. It's kind of painful to watch. He's just kind of trotting around. He's desperately just trying to get. He needs 6 laps really to get there, to hit that number. Maybe 5.
He needs a couple more laps. Rick Raven, he was able to go long all these times, so he might still be in the cards to just be fine. He can take a quick stop.
He definitely can. It'll be a quicker fuel stop now. Larry Miles, he has just now caught Casey Keller, and even then, he's not even all the way there.
Yeah, and Keller was actually running faster laps than Miles was for a while there.
He still might. He's right in that dirty air range.
Oh, important note. Chase Mayer, 2.5 seconds off gas, looking for third.
Gas has to make it about 6 more laps.
Even
roughly.
then, he pit early, so he might not make it. He might have to do some big fuel saving if he wants to hit that number.
Yeah, it's going to be close for Gas. It's going to be close for a couple of these guys. I think the top 2 are going to be good on fuel. Larry Miles is desperately trying to keep that gap somewhat sizable.
Yeah, Mayer, 2.1.
He's closing. He's definitely closing.
Yeah, he certainly is. Through the Sector 1 timings, 2/10 faster.
Down to under 2 seconds for the first time since the last stint as he comes to the chicane. Battle for third could very much be on as Tyler Justice gets lapped by the leader, and he just lets him by there, no problems.
Yeah, no problems. Casey Keller, though, is closing in on Tyler Justice for 5th place.
That he is. Jace Mayer really closing in. 1.8 seconds now. 1.7, 1.6. Gas's tires have seemed to have hit a cliff.
Yeah, those alternates. Gas is experiencing the same things that Miles is right now on these alternate tires.
It's going to be nearly 1.5 across the line. And he's got to go at least 3 to 4 more laps.
Yeah, 1.5, just barely, right around that mark. Actually, it jumped up there to 1.8. Gas once again using his exit speeds to carry him through.
Jace Mayer has been on push to pass. He's only at 117 now in terms of seconds left of push to pass. So he's really trying to close this gap. And I would imagine probably both these guys going on to the primaries for this final stint. Probably for everybody.
Yeah, almost definitely. Keller, he might actually stay on the alternates with how he's been closing in on Tyler Justice, who's been on the primaries. Casey Keller seems to be liking the alternate tires, but these primaries just seem like the better compound.
And a potential top 5 finish for Casey Keller with having lost part of his front wing on the very first lap, turn 3. Awful start.
Yeah, Keller trying to carry his momentum from last race where he got his first podium of the season. He secured that 3rd place right at the end there. He's been carrying that momentum in here. Lost a lot of it with that front wing damage, but got that wing change, and he's near and about slowly closing on Tyler Justice.
You just might get him. The gap between those two, 6.4. Gap out front, closing in a little bit, 5.7. What is Larry Miles cooking? Where did he find this pace all of a sudden?
What is he cooking? That's the question of the day, I think, for all of these drivers. What are they cooking?
What do they got here? I'm interested to see what kind of lap time Larry Miles puts in here.
Raven just put a 15-0.
What does Larry Miles do? Across the line?
14.4.
6/10. Exactly 6/10 faster. Where did that pace come from in these tires? Do you think that's all just Larry Miles' talent, or is that those tires coming back to life somehow?
I think that might just be talent.
Definitely could be. I don't see that kind of performance this late into that tire life, but it's definitely crucial.
Oh.
Could be the difference. Gas has
Gas
a car in
and
the
Mayer
way.
closing in on James Staples. Staples goes into the pits. Gap, though, 7/10.
This fight is officially back on. It took a little while, and now Gas is going to have to go defensive. Gas on push to pass for a second.
Once again, Jace Mayer knows how Gas behaves under pressure. He knows he can take advantage of Gas's inexperience to road courses here and maybe walk away with some free tenths and full seconds of time.
Yeah, the pressure's back on. Of course, we have another pit stop to go. And the performance has flipped, obviously. This is definitely important for the pit cycle as well. He's closed back up. Under a second, 7/10 of a second. He's just going to try and make him push those tires. Although Gas probably could pit this lap. There's 18 to go.
Yeah, the question is, does Gas really want to risk it just yet?
He wouldn't be able to push at the end of the race if he had to. If he's exactly making it on fuel, there'd be no room for error at all. We'll see here. Does he come in? Looks like he might be. No, it's just a wide entry.
Yeah, just had a bad entry into the corner. Therefore, not really a bad one, more of an alternate one, I'd say. Larry Miles. He's currently, I think, getting held up by Tyler Justice here.
Tyler Justice in the way. Tyler Justice did move over for Rick Raven. Does he do the same for Larry Miles? I'm sure for Miles' sake he would hope so.
Miles just lost 0.3 of a second.
Not ideal at all.
Sector.
Mayer.
Miles goes into the pits.
Oh, there it is. Okay, he's trying the undercut then. 5.6 was the gap when he came in. I'm assuming he's going to go on the primaries. We'll see what he does here. We'll see what Mayer does. We'll see what Gas does. Gas is officially at the number. 17 laps to go. He could make it from here, theoretically.
Mayer with a bad couple sectors there that lost him a lot of time.
It did.
Miles still not yet at his pit stall. The pit
Gas is
speed
in.
is so slow. Gas coming into the pits. Curious to see how this helps him. Larry Miles getting stopped.
Does he go onto the primaries or the alternates? Back onto the red stripes.
Slow stop from him.
Wow.
Miles staying on the alternates. I think he liked how they were performing at the end there.
He must have. He must have found something. He's got to hope it works here. He's got to go. And the gap?
He's got to push. He's got to close in. Slow stop for him, though, 53.1.
53.1. But the gap, important to note, he's 3 seconds behind Mayer, who's 47 behind Rick Raven. He's about 51 seconds behind Rick Raven, who stays out.
Power was last time.
It was,
so it's gonna be curious to see what he can close in this time round.
Gas was in the pits.
Gas exiting pits now. Gas going back.
For speeding is my question.
I think it was for pit exit. I think he didn't get it. I think he got off the pit limiter a little too soon. It's a much later pit limiter line than you think it is. You have to be paying attention for the cones. Gas with the drive-through, presumably. That's gonna be big.
That's gonna kill his podium.
Rick Raven in the pits.
Raven in the pits. This is the race for the lead. The race for the win.
Again with the lockup there on the pit line. Did he get it stopped in time? He barely got it stopped once again.
So close for Rick Raven then.
Miles was just barely over 50 seconds at the last sector marker. It's
going to be super, super close.
Yeah, Gas in the pits. Presumably for a drive-through, might be even a hold.
That's heartbreaking. He was doing so well. Jace Mayer just coming out. It would have been so close. That's going to hand a podium to Jace Mayer, barring, of course, a disaster. What does Rick Raven do for tires? He's on the black walls. We'll keep an eye on him.
He switches to the alternates.
So it's alternate for alternate. Where is Larry?
Larry on the straight now, just crossing the line.
He's not going to get there. It's going to have to be...
He's not going to get there, but he's going to get close.
He'll be a lot closer than he was. 4 seconds now, 4.3. Gap's going to grow back. I think Raven might have absolutely nailed this. Fastest lap from Larry Miles. 112.51.
That's faster than the qualifying pole.
That is. So he's moving. He's putting everything into these tires. This is the stint. This is the race win.
5 seconds across the Sector 1 marker. Raven, though, is going to have to deal with tire warm-up.
It's going to take about a lap or so to get those tires in the ideal temperature window.
Justice and Teller in the pits now. 4.5 seconds separates Miles and Raven. Gonna be close. Miles does need to consider he can't take too much life out of these tires immediately.
No, absolutely. He has to... I mean, they got to last the whole stint. But he also has to close the gap. He's in a rock and a hard place.
Absolutely. As Rick Raven messes up turn 1, goes deep, that's going to surely help Larry Miles.
We'll see what the gap is here. Closes to around 1.6.
4.6.
Excuse me, yes, 4.6. We can only dream.
Jace Mayer, quick yellow flag. Now,
the mistake?
It seemed like he just made a slight off track there in turn 1.
Rick Raven is going to have some lap traffic in front of him. Is that Jace Mayer?
That's James Staples.
That's James Staples. Wow. And here he comes. Oh, he gets out of the way. Phew, that was close.
The rule book says you don't have to get out of the way, so these guys are just being nice here. No obligation.
That's true. Although James Staples is 3 laps down, so he's not really...
Yeah. Actually, no. At this point, he is obligated to get out of the way.
Once you're a lap down, you do have to move. But if you're Jace Mayer, who may be lapped sooner than later...
Yeah, Mayer only about a sector ahead of the leaders.
You gotta feel for Brandon Gass. That was such a good race, such a good performance, and a stupid mistake, a simple mistake, a slight oversight.
Yeah, it's incredibly unfortunate for him there. Incredibly unfortunate.
And I think it might be unfortunate for Larry Miles as well. I think the strategy went the way of Rick Raven. Pole for Larry Miles. Rick Raven snatched it from him before we even got to turn 1.
Yeah, and notably for Rick Raven, he's also going to get those most laps led points.
That's another 5.
Yeah, another free 5 points for him there.
So he'll have a good little cushion, assuming it finishes like this, going into the Indy 500 in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, but again, double points there, so any single gap is going to be amplified.
Going to open the door for Larry Miles. Of course, everyone's going to want to win the Indy 500, but especially these championship frontrunners would be a huge win for them.
Yeah, 12 to go. I don't think Miles can do it unless Raven makes a mistake, which Raven is known not to be a perfect driver. He has made mistakes that's cost him wins many times this season.
He had some slip-ups.
Think back to situations like, think back to VIR. Think back to that strategy error he made in Sebring. Even all the way back to 2 weeks ago, Road Atlanta, he made some big lockups there that hurt him.
And we saw Larry Miles in the second half of the tire life for these red walls. He found some pace, and I think maybe that's what he's banking on here.
Yeah, it's also, James Staples off track for a quick second.
Seems to be gathered back up.
Raven currently running faster laps, but this could be hurting him in the end here if he takes too much away from these tires. Remember, he ran the majority of this race on the black walls, started on the alternates, however, switched off those pretty quickly. So he's going to need to get readjusted to the fact that you can't use these tires as much.
Yeah, they're going to have to make him last to the end. Either way, the question is who's going to have more pace in 11 laps? Right now, it's Rick Raven. But who's to say?
Currently, Rick Raven, however, at the end, Miles was throwing down some absolute barn burners.
That he was. We'll see if that continues. 6 seconds is the gap. This one has stretched out. Jace Mayer is the only other driver on the lead lap. He's third, 47 seconds behind Larry Miles.
The gap fluctuating now, just right around 6 seconds, a bit above that.
I think all Larry can do is try and save those tires, get to the end here, and see what happens with Rick Raven.
Yeah, Rick really hoping not to make a mistake here, really trying to keep it clean. Thinks about what he's done in the past, thinks about what that's cost him. He could have had he cost himself probably around 3 wins so far.
Yeah, he could be sitting on a lot more wins, a lot bigger points lead. But alas, it's been Tom Minot winning those races. It's been Larry Miles winning those races. Of course, Rick Raven's got 2 for himself as well. But like we said, it could be more.
See, Rick Raven still chilling out, it seems, not setting as fast of laps. Larry Miles the last time just barely faster, but that barely is not enough.
Yeah, he's keeping him at bay. Around 6 seconds the last couple of laps. Looks like it might just be a Rick Raven kind of day.
Yeah, I think that's what it's gonna be unless something drastic can happen here to the leader.
.8, 5.9. It's been roughly the same.
Oh, Casey Keller under 3 seconds now to Tyler Justice. This is starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, he might get there. He's been slowly building him in. That is for 5th place.
Casey Keller on an impressive streak of top 5s. Barring Homestead Oval, he's been in top 5 position every single race pretty much.
Yeah, he has. And we head to a couple of ovals coming up. We've only had one thus far, and that was Homestead Oval. Won by Rick Raven, by the way.
Yeah, won by Rick Raven in his amazing Homestead doubleheader sweep.
Yeah, won both races in Miami. Outside of Florida, he hasn't won a single race. Put it that way.
He's won 2/3 of the races in Florida so far this season.
That's true. He could have gone 3 for 3. Is Rick Raven a Florida merchant?
That's a new kind of merchant I think we haven't gone to yet.
That's true. That's a new invention. I mean, he's leading here, so he could.
This is Indy, though.
That's true. He could break the just now made up stereotype.
That he only wins in Florida.
Six seconds even. 8 laps to go. It's going to take kind of a Hail Mary by Larry Miles. But I think Rick Raven's got it covered, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Raven, I think, has it pretty secured.
And that's going to be disappointing for Larry Miles. You stole one at Road Atlanta, and you had pole here, but it's been all Rick Raven, really.
Yeah, certainly. Miles stole the win from Raven in VIR, stole the win from Raven in Road Atlanta. Rick Raven, though, comfortably proving that, hey, you can't steal a win from me every single race.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. I don't think this time. I think he's running out of time, so even if he could find that pace at the end there, it's probably not going to be enough. 6 seconds is quite the gap.
Yeah, he not only needs to find that pace, Raven needs to make a pretty substantial error.
That he does. That's pretty much Larry Miles' only path to the victory right now, unless Rick Raven runs out of gas or something like that.
Yeah, with how late Rick Raven, though, was stopping is not at all going to be concerned.
No, not at all. Very, very, very unlikely. 6.3. Raven's putting in some lap times.
Yeah, Raven still in the 14.3s, Miles in the 14.6s. Casey Keller, though, bit over 2.5 now to Tyler Justice.
Could get him. He might get him by the end. Justice on the black
to go.
walls. Keller on the reds. That is the closest battle on track.
Yeah, by far.
Brandon Gass had a drive through, but I know it's quite the gap, but he's only 34 seconds behind Jace Mayer.
Yeah. I'm not looking at the timings of the leaders. I'm still not seeing a lot of movement in lap time.
Let's see what Rick Raven does here. 1:14.6. What's Larry Miles got for him?
14.4.
A little faster. Okay. 2 tenths here and there is
But
not going to be
again,
enough.
He needs to, at this point, be pulling a second a lap.
If you have anything in the tank, Larry, it's time to go. This is it. 6 laps to go. 6 seconds is the gap. There's nothing left to conserve. If you save tires at this point, you're just going to lose the race.
Yeah, he has a 51-second gap behind him. He can afford to burn up his tires trying to do this.
Might as well. He's already cut 2 seconds out in that first sector. 5.8 is the gap. Is Larry on the move?
He might very well be, but Raven still needs to make a mistake because he still needs to pass Raven. It doesn't matter if he gets within a second of Raven. He needs to make that overtake.
Yeah, it's got to get to the point where he's got to be about 1.5 faster, maybe 1.2 every single lap from here on out if he wants to pass him. And it's just not happening right now.
Yeah, not at all. In Sector 3, Raven was faster. Sector 1, they matched. Sector 2, Miles was faster. Sector 3, Raven faster.
On 14.79 for Rick Raven.
14.3, big Sector 4, gap 5.5. So the tires are starting to work out now for Miles, but it's just not enough time.
I don't think it's enough time at all, unless those gaps start coming down drastically and we start seeing a second and a half or two per lap at the end here. That's really the only way.
Not only that, I think the only way is if Raven makes a mistake.
You might be right. Looking to push to pass. Larry Miles has 70 seconds left to push to pass. He's really been on it.
.4 seconds. The gap, Keller to Justice. Which Justice has very slowly been closing in on gas, actually.
Interesting. Yeah, there's only a couple seconds between those two as well. About 4 seconds.
Raven coming to the line.
What's he going to run here?
14.4. That's fast.
That's pretty quick.
He was last lap.
That's a good response from Raven. What about Larry Miles?
800 slower than Raven that time. You can't be doing that if you want to get up to close that gap in.
That's a big response. That's Raven saying, hey, I still got something left in the tank. You're not just going to run me down. My tires are worn, but I'm still quick.
4 to go, though. It's so close to the battle being potentially on, but there's just not enough laps left.
So close yet so far for Larry Miles. I'll tell you what, when Rick Raven is on, he is neon impossible to beat.
Yeah, very much so. But Casey Keller, speaking of people hard to beat, Casey Keller closing in on Tyler Justice. Justice this whole race has been ahead of Keller. After that lap 1 incident that Keller had, 2 seconds the gap.
He's closing in. Only 4 to go. I don't know if he'll get him, but he could theoretically be P5. Really, if Gas makes a mistake, Casey Keller could be top 4.
Yeah, that's certainly on the cards for today.
3 remaining for Rick Raven and Indianapolis.
Again, another 14.4.
He's got
Miles,
the pace.
I think, has phoned it in. He just ran a 14.5.8.
I think that might be it. I think that was his best shot, and I think it missed.
Yeah, now all eyes turn to Casey Keller on his hunt down on Tyler Justice. 3 to go.
3 laps remaining for Casey Keller. Can he get Tyler Justice for 5th? He's got to find some pace here. He's got 19 seconds left to push to pass, so really not a ton. Tyler Justice has 43. These guys have been on it.
Yeah, they certainly have.
Rick Raven has 173 seconds of push to pass. This lead you're seeing, this race from Rick Raven, is almost all pure driving pace.
Yeah, that's what tracks like Indianapolis expose. When the tires aren't as big of a factor, it really shows the driver how the drivers handle themselves.
We saw it here with Rick Raven putting on a masterclass. Coming to 2 to go. 5.6 is the gap. It's going to take a absolute miracle and a half for Larry Miles to win this one. Rick Raven in full control here, looking for maximum points with the exception of pole position.
Yeah, Miles ran 4/10 fast that time, but it just doesn't matter at this point with 2 to go.
No, he's got to find nearly 3 seconds a lap at this point.
Yeah, and more like he has to find 5 seconds this lap.
Yeah, pretty much. Just to get close. I think Casey Keller's going to run out of time as well. Maybe.
Yeah, he got close, but I just don't. He's not closing in at the rate he needs to, I think.
If he can find about 1.5 here, maybe give himself a half a chance. Raven coming to take the white flag. This time, it's been an absolute masterclass from Rick Raven. This is how you want to start your run at Indianapolis for Indy 500 competition. Rick Raven, white flag in the air, 1 lap to go. This race is official. And the gap is 6 seconds. He's still improving. He's still flexing.
Yeah, just in Sector 4 alone, I think Miles, I think, finally gave up on it. Raven went a full half second faster than Miles did.
That's going to be it for that. Casey Keller closing into Tyler Justice. Gap there is 1.5. Probably not going to be enough. Keller is officially out of push to pass. Larry Miles is officially out of push to pass. Rick Raven used some there. Might as well. He's got 131 left now. But it's been all Rick Raven. It's been a masterclass. Led the most laps. Took the lead at the very beginning. Only thing that thwarted him, really, was a lap car getting in his way. But other than that...
Even then... Out of the final braking zone.
Here he comes.
Raven not wrecking into a wall.
Rick Raven.
Unless he does so right now, which he doesn't.
He doesn't. Run to the line. It's Rick Raven winning at Indianapolis. He starts off the month of June the best way possible here in the Vantage Indy Special League. Larry Miles in second. He'll be disappointed with that one. Jace Mayer, he's got some time to go. He'll be looking for a podium here. Tyler Justice just ahead of Casey Keller.
Yeah, Justice able to hold off Keller. Their gap was under a second at the line. And mind you, these guys were a lap down, so they only ran 67 laps. So if that 1 lap might have made a difference.
It absolutely might have, but I guess we'll never know. Still a good run, though, from Casey Keller, all things considered, with losing the front wing there on the opening lap. It was all an uphill climb from there.
Yeah, still a couple got... Jace Mayer actually yet to cross the line, being that last car on the lead lap.
Here he goes. Podium for Jace Mayer at Indianapolis in the Indianapolis Grand Prix here in the Vantage Indy Special League. And there you have it. Your race winner, Rick Raven.
First podium of the season for Mayer.
First driver to 3 wins.
Oh, and he's burning down with that podium. Got that 3rd place and is celebrating like crazy.
Might as well.
He's also celebrating. Is he going to burn it down a little?
Oh,
just
a little dance.
Giving a little tire wiggle.
Little jig.
Little wheel dance. Throwing down doing a hoedown.
Oh, he's going.
On the yard of bricks. Look at him go.
Oh, man. He's going to burn a little hole in those tires. Going to start a fire.
He's about to destroy his steering rack.
That wheel's going to come smooth out. He is still going. Let's get some interviews if we can't get Jace Mayer maybe in here. Oh, that didn't seem to work. Close. Jace Mayer, it's Nico and Elliot in the booth. You got us?
Hey, yep, I got you. What's up?
All right. So 3rd place for you. Pretty good run. Burn it down there at the end. How was that race? You had a little fight with Brandon Gass.
Honestly, besides the fight with him, it was pretty quiet. And it's a shame we couldn't have fought longer. I had a lot of fun trying to catch and pass. I don't know. I was just saving fuel the whole time. Didn't even touch map 1 for any of it. So,
oh, wow.
You know.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's surprising that you didn't even get to map 1. Overall, first podium of the season. Do you think you're going to be able to carry this momentum into Indy 500 qualifying next weekend?
I like to think of myself as an oval specialist, so I hope so. I really do. It's going to be a fun race. I know it.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to seeing you. Congrats on the podium, and hopefully we see you up here once again.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's get the runner-up. Let's get Larry Miles in here. Larry, it's Nico and Elliot in the booth. You got us?
Yep.
All right. So you got pole position. Unfortunately, lost the lead into turn 1. How was this race for you? Was it just Raven being quicker, or strategy didn't go your way, maybe?
It was just Raven being quicker. For like the first time this season, I had better quality pace than I had race pace. Like, it's been a while.
Yeah, it looked like
yeah.
you kind of left everyone in the dust in qualifying. Race didn't really go your way. It looked like the alternates didn't really agree with you in the middle stint as well. Is that kind of what you saw?
Yeah, like, we both started on alternates. I went to primaries, he went to alternates. We pulled like a 8-second gap. And then I went back to alternates, and he went on to primaries, and then the gap only shrunk to like 5 seconds. And then it stayed at 5 seconds for the next pit stop, so he was honestly just quicker. And primaries weren't very good, probably because the track was mostly low and medium speed corners. There's like no high speed corners.
Right.
So the alternates weren't really getting used as much as the previous tracks we did.
Well, second nonetheless, not bad. You're still within the championship hunt. Vindy 500 in 2 weeks, qualifying in 1 week, double points race. You looking forward to the 500?
Oh, I'm hoping I can make it, because I'm not getting the setup. Just use whatever Ryerson gives me.
Oh man, okay, well, best of luck. Hopefully we can see some Larry Miles action out on track, and hopefully you can find a setup that works for you.
All right.
All right, well, thank you for coming out. Let's get, might as well, Rick Raven, the race winner in here, championship leader, 3 wins on the season. Rick Raven, it's Nico and Elliot in the booth. You got us?
What's up, Nico, Elliot?
How you doing, Rick?
How to do?
Pretty good. I'd say I'm doing pretty good right now.
3 wins on the season. Looking pretty strong. Winning here at Indy, 2 weeks till the 500. What's going through your mind right now?
I don't know, really. I'm just on autopilot. I've been on autopilot since practice. I'm just really tired. And I knew we had good pace. A little disappointed that we didn't get pole because, I know that we're quick here. I know that we're quicker than that pole lap. But, just tailing them, second place. And, I thought about what Elliot said in the interview pre-race. You're going to do the same thing to him? Well, yeah, I'm just going to stay behind him until the last lap. I was behind him for the whole first stint, just hanging there. And I'm like, should I just stay here? Nah. We chose to get the red tires in the first pit stop, and that helped us to get a gap. I didn't expect to be able to keep it because I knew that at some point, wait, hold on. Now you got a close-up. Let me do this.
The wiggle.
Oh, yep.
It's back.
There's the wiggle, the Rick Raven wiggle.
Yeah, I had to do that since you got to close up. So we were able to gap Larry, and then we had to go to primaries, and I figured once he's on the res, it's just going to close that back in, but it didn't happen. But again, I knew that we had pace here, so I was a little surprised because the reds are so much faster, especially in the early part of the stint. So I mean, it just worked out. It just worked out.
Yeah, it did. It went your way. You had the maximum. There's the wiggle. You had the best pace all day. You get the win. Most laps led. I think fastest lap as well. Looks like.
No, I think Larry got that.
Oh yeah, Larry did get that.
Larry got it by 2/10.
I wasn't going for fast lap. I was thinking about getting on the button and taking it back, but I'm like, nah, let him have it. I just want to win the race.
Well, win the race you did. So congrats on that. 1 week till 500 qualifying. How are you feeling going into the 500? Think you can win it?
Nope, not at all. There's 33 drivers out there. Anything can happen. It's a long race. I mean, if we could stay out of trouble and get to the end, maybe we'll have a shot. I don't even have a setup for Indianapolis, and to my surprise, this is an open setup race, which I'm a little disappointed. But rules are rules. That's how they have it set up, so you got to go by it. And I don't have a setup, so it is what it is. Hopefully, we'll get up there and maybe finish in the top 5 if we're lucky. If we're lucky, we'll get to the end of the race. 500 miles, long way to go. So, we'll just have to see what happens. We'll do our best, try to stay out of trouble.
All right.
Now, for the 500, have you been since you don't have that setup, have you been practicing qualifying? Because you do need to make that field first, presumably based on how the registration has been, the signups have been. you might have to fight for your spot into the field. I know Larry Miles also doesn't have a setup and won't for this race. So do you think both not only will you make it in, but you think he'll make it in as well?
Well, I guess I'll be using the qualifying setup. The stock qualifying setup. I don't know if that's going to be fast enough. I'm sure it won't be fast enough for pole, but fast enough to make the field. I don't know. I hope so. I mean, what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do. It's an open setup race. I don't have any setups for Indianapolis, just the stock setup, and it is what it is. I might have to take that one on the chin.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, Rick, thanks for coming out.
Hey, I just want to say hi to Saucy. I can see I just turned on the live feed, and I see Saucy out there. Let's go! Yeah, baby.
Yeah, he did.
Jacob Hoskins celebrating, the team owner celebrating with his driver.
He did want me to let you know that Aftershock does very much appreciate you. He said you're doing a great job bringing up a small team like that.
Well, I appreciate him. He's a good dude. I don't know where my teammates are, but so much for the team points. Guess I'm kind of carrying the load here today, but hey, it is what it is. Life comes first. So I'll just keep showing up. Hopefully I can make every Saturday because, the summer's coming up and people normally have plans on Saturdays, but I'll do my best. I might have to tell my wife to go pound salt. I'm sorry, I can't do what you want me to do. I've got to go race an Advantage, baby.
That's right. We'd love to hear it. We need more of that.
Screw the marriage. It's time for the Vindy 500.
That's right.
That's right. Screw the marriage. I'm going to take my wedding ring off right now. Hold on. Here,
Whoa.
You'll hear it drop.
He's married to the game. He's married to the Vantage Indy
Let me-
Special.
He's married to Vantage.
Oh, let's see if you can hear this. I just took it off and I'm dropping it on the desk. Here we go. You hear that?
Yep, we got it.
I don't know if you heard that. I'm going to put it back on.
Not ready to end the marriage just yet, but maybe
No.
after he wins the Vindy 500.
Yeah, maybe then. Maybe then it'll be worth it. That might cost me my marriage, actually, so we'll see what happens.
We'll see. All right. Well, best of luck, Rick. Congrats on the win. Championship leader. Most wins on the season. Looking to have a strong Vindy 500 week. Rick Raven, your winner. We'll see you next time, Rick.
All right. I want to congratulate Larry Miles on a good race. Did a great job. And it looks like we're going to be fighting all the way through the season till the December, till the finale. That's what it looks like.
And that's what it looks like. So we'll see how that goes. Good luck, Rick.
Thank you, brother. God bless you.
That was Rick Raven, race winner. Dominating performance here. Took a real, I think this is going to, if you look back, could be a turning point in the championship for sure when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
So, closing
Certainly
thoughts.
is. Once again, another amazing interview from Rick Raven.
Oh, he's
always comes out here with bangers. Great guy. I expected to see a bit more from Larry Miles there. To be honest, I thought he maybe had the pace, especially with his qualifying, but he just didn't seem to get the car turned on as much as he would have wanted.
Yeah.
Gale Rolls, not entirely surprised with how he's been with what happened with him there. He just seems to he drives fast, but he never actually slows it down. Never rests into a good pace. He's always pushing 100% of the time.
Yeah, he is. Hopefully he can bounce back in the 500. Hopefully a lot of these guys can bounce back in the 500. And I'm looking forward to that. Before we close out, Vindy 500 qualifying 1 week from today. Elliot, what time will that be starting? Broadcast and event and everything.
Just pulling up the session details right now, starting at 12 p.m. Eastern, that's noon Eastern, will be the first session. That's where every car gets to set their lap. Immediately after that, about 5 hours after that, we go into the bump session. We go into the Fast 9 session, then into the bump session. Or it might be the other way around. I'm not entirely...
I believe it's bump then Fast 9. Either way.
Bump then Fast 9. Either way.
Long broadcast. You don't want to miss it. That's the official start to Vantage Week. So enjoy the rest of your week.
Also remember to catch the official Vindy 500 qualifying order lottery on Wednesday. Time TBD.
Yep, that's going to be where we determine at random draw the initial qualifying order for the opening session.
Yeah, and if you join after that, note you will just be placed at the end of the list.
Yep, there's still a few spots left. I think we have how many spots left? We're at
so
30.
After the most recent influx of drivers that we are about to get from a new team joining, we will be at 2 guaranteed spots left.
2 guaranteed. Fastest 33 make it. Everybody else going home. So Sign up today. Still a couple spots left. If we have 33, we roll with 33. If we have more, some people
We
are
still
going
roll with
home.
33.
We still roll with 33, exactly. 33 is the max. Minimum technically would be 1, however. We're a little bit above that, so we'll be okay. Don't worry, you're not gonna have to watch one car all alone on track for 200 laps. I promise. However, we will see single car qualifying 1 week from today. So, yeah, that's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow for V1 action at Monza, and then yeah, the week's gonna start ramping things up for qualifying week.
Absolutely.
All right, folks. Well, thanks for watching. Yeah, I think that's going to do it. Elliot, if you want to hit Jessica, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here.
Absolutely. Oh, where is it?
There we go. Have a good night, everyone.